about right now, because I can't help, I'm tickled right now. But there's two other things out here that if we're talking about, you're not out in the world sharing exactly as it is, and so on and so forth. Um, there are two things that are coming up in this conversation that seem technical, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if like, how else might this be playing out? How might this actually be a representation of exactly what Brandy's talking about? The
Mhm.
first thing is that as this conversation goes, I can no longer see your face. Like the
Oh,
world is becoming darker around you, right? And the lights are going down. And the thing for me there is like, where else is Brandy hiding in the shadows? Where else is she like not stepping into the light? Like I have three lights in front of me right here. The world will see me. I have like a microphone over here. Like the world will hear me. There's no like, and even that, your microphone is also a lot lower, right? And so there's these elements here where I'm like, I'm taking this experience and seeing like what even about your own environment are you creating where like you aren't in the light, right? And you aren't creating that which allows you to actually be seen, to really be seen regardless of the situation. The sun always sets, and there's cloud cover and all that there. But like what, like I get really curious about like where else are you not creating the environments that will like naturally support you from the very beginning? Where else are you letting whatever happens to be around be the amplification of your voice there? Because there's a lot in there. So I'm gonna pause really quickly and check in with you. Yeah. I see you smiling. I hear you laughing a little bit. Uh, tell me what's going on. And if you need to experience it, take some time to just experience first.
well, no, you're tapping into, and I do apologize. Actually, everything is voice controlled, and it just happens to be that the thing that turns on the light is not responding right now. So I can take a moment. Just technical difficulties in life. Um, so
But even that still, Brandy, I hear you, and like it's with love that I say this here, where it's like, my space. Anything goes. I told you my video might freeze. Like if you needed to go up and just go flip the manual switch to come back and sit here, like you could have done that, you know. So like
yeah,
so like so I want to call that out there where it's like yes, you've entered my space, but we said from the very beginning that we're going to model the world that we want to see, and if you want to be seen, then like part of the modeling would be doing whatever it took to be seen. I don't care if you get up and go. Like I'm good, you know. Like
yeah,
like I actually look at that. I'm like wonderful. Like we're playing, but we're doing the work. So I hear
no,
you in the voice activation, and I think for me it's more of like, Brandy, you are one of the most powerful people I've come across in my life. I love the things that you do. I love the way that you show up here. Like I love I like there's so much about you that I'm just like, you came up, you see an injustice, and you're like, I'm creating something out of this. I'm creating a program. I'm bringing people in, whatever it is. Like you're on it. But voice controlled lighting, like like you're not gonna get me on that one. You're not gonna get me on that. And I just like to think about it from the standpoint of, realistically, I'm pushing a bit here because it's edgy for me as
yeah.
well. And I think that, but I just think about it from the standpoint of like, okay, if you want to be undiluted, if you want to be seen in the world, if you really want to be able to express that there, how can we make sure that you're the question in my mind, how do we make sure that you set up the environment for that regardless of what the external environment is ready for, regardless of what the external environment is naturally doing, so on and so forth. Like like, to me, this could be, if you choose to allow it to be, a microcosm of how, an example of how other things play out in the world.
No, you're hitting on a couple of things. Well, one is bucking up against the part of me that's about decorum. So, although you say, like, yes, you can get up and turn the lights on, I'm like, no, I have to sit right here and wait for either permission or a moment when it is appropriate to do that. I need to turn my camera off. I need to walk across the room, and so there's that, which all it's playing into all of these things that we're talking about. Um, it's also the part that, like you said, I can create this thing in response to something that I see as injustice or pain or hurt. But then there's a part of me that is very, and it's very hard for people to believe, that is so like internalized and introverted, that when you say to me, you're one of the most powerful people, that all that recoils, like all of that in me goes, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with believing that. I don't not believe it in the sense of, I don't not, it's not that I disbelieve you, because I believe you, Niyama, period. Like, I think you're, you know, I trust that you will not say anything that is untrue. This whole last 18 months has been about like coming out of decorum and stepping into a place of accepting all of this concentratedness. And it's interesting that we're using like stepping into the light, because that's exactly what's happening right now. I'm suddenly being confronted with speaking opportunities and these things that are very public. I'm doing a photo shoot in a week or so for, you know, my brand photos, and showing up and sharing my voice. And it's just not, it all has to be very orderly. And that is the mechanics. That's the mechanics that that's being pushed up against. And it feels very discombobulating, for that matter. Disorienting, because the order is so out of sync with what I know to do on automatic pilot. So I feel like what people are responding to when you say power is that order. I don't know this more intuitive internal thing. I'm getting in touch with it as other people are also recognizing it, if that makes sense. I'm learning about it as you're experiencing it. The work world, the professional world didn't sort of allow that to be mine. It was theirs, and it was controlled, and it was in that box. Now I have this blank canvas and this mission to fulfill, which that's very clear. It would have probably been more natural and normal for me to like have this mission and then assign all the people to go out and do the work. But now I have to do it. I have to turn on the light and be the person that's seen it. Yeah. So it's like this, I mean, it's very fitting that the sun starts to set on me in this moment. And it's interesting because there are a lot of things that I'm procrastinating about, like buying my lighting kits and things of that nature, out of the sheer like, oh my God, what do I do with being an out front person? And I say out front, not just meaning like be a star, but like out front in the sense that my voice and what I'm sharing actually is delivered and is the thing that is driving a mission. I still feel very humbled by like, oh, I'm supposed to be like, oh, this is my work. This is what I'm put here to do. So like I said, I'm experiencing it as you're experiencing it. And yeah, so that's what's happening in me right now.
Yay. Yay. That's what, because to me, I know that you're on the path. Like Brandy, you're experiencing me as I'm experiencing me. And Louisa, like I feel like Louisa's like we're all in that space here. Like you're it, like this is the game that we're choosing to play. This is why when people talk about uncertainty, I'm like, what is like I'm living in an uncertain world right now. I'm trying to figure out me for the first time. Someone help me. There she is. She's
Let there be light.
very like, I am going to be seen. And that's like, yeah.
I had to call the kitchen to get lights.
Done. It's like, but that's it. I mean, that took literally 0.3 seconds, but we can see you here, right? And like, and it's that small gap. That small gap of like, how could 0.3 seconds make the biggest, like make the difference there? How could like this is what I'm pointing to here. Like, and I want to like acknowledge you and just be with you because like I see you on the journey, and that's how I know like I know that it is harder to actually go and do the work than it is to do like the pop culture element of it all, to share the things that should be shared, to do all the other elements there, like to actually be in the work. It's what it comes up with what you are experiencing. And so I recognize that, and I call out your power that's there, and I want you to know in case you can't know right now. And you may not be able to receive it in this moment, but I want to be one of the people that starts pushing the flywheel so that one day some it could be an Instagram post that comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, oh, you know, like it doesn't have to be me. I'm part of your team that's helping to make sure that you see that. We're just getting started. Click on the link below to watch the full conversation and go to niyamaashawn.com/tribe to get additional resources and exclusive invitation to tribe only events. Journey on.